Today's about the modern forehand. We're going to be using the wall to really develop a modern forehand, just like the pros you're seeing on TV, okay? So this is going to be a lot of fun. So what this is going to enable you to do is to be able to have a much simpler, shorter backswing, but be able to generate a lot more pace and spin. You'll see more and more instructors teach this way. I'm kind of following a method of Rick Macy, who's coached the Williams sisters and countless great pros. He's down in Florida. I have a lot of respect for him. He does lots of talks for the USPTA. And so we're pretty much following him almost by the book. But I've got some ideas in here that I think are pretty unique and going to help you really get those ideas. So the first thing you guys want to know is the grip. All right, not to say that you can't hit topspin even with a continental grip. You know, Mac used to take that racket back and shovel some topspin there, and I used to kind of emulate him when I was growing up. So you can hit topspin with pretty much any grip. So that's, I think, a little bit of a misconception. Now, if you don't know what the semi-western grip is, easiest way to find, I'm just gonna back up here, watch this. I'm gonna drop the racket like that, and then I'm gonna pick it up. And it's like I'm holding a frying pan, okay? So you see this? And I actually love this as my ready position as I'm returning serve. You'll see like Rafa kind of gets in this position. I think Maria Sharapova, a lot of people now are standing kind of saying, hey, I'm ready for the forehand. So I think this is a great ready position, and then only when the ball switches to the other side am I gonna change the grip. And if you're over on that semi-western, a lot of times you don't have to flip like the whole racket over like a lot of people think. You can just make a very quick change. See, I went right to the backhand, pretty simple. So I think some people are worried that if you switch over to the next move, over to the other side, like you got a big grip change to do. And I think people are out there doing that. But if I'm here in this semi-western grip, all I gotta do is make a slight move and I'm there. Here we go. This is first of all, the grip is so important. And then the other thing you want to think about is when you're getting ready for your forehand, do not use your arm, right? Too many people, they're getting really big because there's a big separation, right? And you want to think more of the unit turn and swiveling your feet. So when you're getting ready, learn how to pivot your feet. Rather than making your arm go back, pivot your feet. See that? Make this move right here. And notice how I'm down low too. I'm right here making this initial move. You don't want to be staying up. You don't want to use your arm. You want to be right down this way. But what we want to do is our first move, what we want to do is again here and elevate the elbow. Almost like there's somebody behind you and you're going to nudge them, right? I'm going to give you a little nudge right there. That's the first move. So we want to go unit turn, elbow nudge. Notice how I'm holding on the racket. This is super important too. Do not separate the arms. Hold on to that tennis racket. So we're here, and unit turn, elbow nudge. Unit turn, elbow nudge. Notice how the frame is still kind of forward, okay? And this is kind of gonna help us really build momentum and whip into the shot. So you can go here, right here. Another thing you can do, I like this option too. You can go mirror, mirror to where you're looking at yourself in a mirror. Either one is fine. So you can go elbow nudge and kind of have the tip of the racket this way. That's going to really get us into our flip, which we're going to talk about in a second. But this way sometimes is a little cleaner and easier for people. I'm fine either way, but the elbow tends to drop more naturally that way. So you still want an elevated elbow, but holding on to that racket. Very important. Why am I holding on the racket? Because it's loading my core. I'm holding on the racket because it's loading my core, ready to go. So this is your first move, and you want to practice this like a gunslinger. You want to get this over and over again so it never changes. So it's the same every single time. Just doing that over and over again, and it's very important for those strings to be facing the ground. If the strings start to face even when you bring the racket back, when you go to swing, you're not going to get any topspin and the ball is going to be flying out. All right, so make sure you do that. All right, now, this is something really cool. You can come out here, you have your basket of balls. So get a basket of balls, that's step one. Have it to where the basket comes to about your waist. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here. Rick Macy calls this the good dog move. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna nudge that elbow up, and then I'm gonna bring my arm out straight and tap the basket. Good dog. You still want the wrist to be up a bit. You see how my wrist is flexed up here? You don't want this to drop, because now all of a sudden you're gonna lose power. So watch that move again. You get yourself a basket, you elevate up, and this is so you know where to move. You come out here to the side, and the wrist is still up. So you just want to practice and find this move over and over again. This is your first move. You're holding onto the racket, then when you separate, you come to the outside. And then the next move, and this is where a lot of people kind of mess up, is that wrist needs to be laid back. Rick Macy will call this the flip. It needs to be laid back so that you get the power coming to the ball. All right, if your wrist is in here, then you're gonna be in trouble. And this is where a lot of people, I see a lot of people, I call this hiding the wrist. I see a lot of people do this on their forehand when they try this. They'll come here, then they'll cuff it in here, and then they'll go, and you're not gonna get that topspin and power. What you wanna think about, because I got a book here, is when you're going, you need your hand, when you're coming to the ball, to be in this position. This is the laid back wrist position here, okay? The laid back wrist position, so that when you come, you're coming with power, right? I've got power coming here. If my hand was coming at the ball like this, you see, this doesn't have much power to it. This is where I can really push and add power to the tennis ball. So very, very important that you're getting this move here. Coming here, here. Now what I want you to do, once you get that going, watch this. Just practice this little, it's important to practice shallow strokes. You're coming here and then lay it back and bring it forward. See that? Here, down, forward. Here, down. And you make it like a nice little, almost like you're doing some type of yoga, right? We want it to flow. We don't want it to be rigid where it's here, here, here. That's not realistic. You want to kind of be moving in a nice little relaxed circle. See that? You see the racket flowing in a nice movement? Notice how the hips are also making that motion forward. So I'm back here, down, flowing. Once you feel you've got that going pretty good, watch what you're gonna do next. Next move, you're gonna come here, in your U-turn, you're gonna come here, and then you're gonna do this whoosh and hit. And the way you're gonna do it, to give yourself time, is you're gonna throw the ball against the fence underhand. I'm coming right here, and go. So this is allowing me to practice that move. I definitely recommend doing this first, then getting here, then throwing against the fence, and go. So now this is making you be able to find the same spot every time, keeping the swing consistent and getting a nice stroke, okay? Also, we want to be very relaxed, and notice how my follow through is kind of coming this way. The strings are actually facing out that way when I'm done. I'll do a couple more. So I'm here, I'm gonna throw it against the fence, wish back, and go. Look at that follow through. So now we're starting to really get that motion. If you're having trouble with feeling the topspin, there's something you can do to start to feel that. Let me show you just this cool little tool here I have called the Topspin Pro. And so I'm coming here. You can use all the tools together. Now I can bring my basket out here. So I can come here, elevate the elbow, come here, and then relax and brush. You see that ball spin? Here, out here, and brush. So I've got a nice short backswing, and I'm getting ready to accelerate to the ball. So this is making my swing nice, short, and simple. This is just like the Roger Federer move that he does. So here, and then what happens when you come here, this is where you're gonna bring a lot of your racket head speed into the ball in a match. So I want you to go slow and smooth in the beginning. When you go to play and you wanna get a little bit faster, you can get here, back, and whip. Once I get into this and come here, this is when I'm gonna really torque my hips into the ball and add the power. So it looks like this. Here, here, go. Go. Right, there's your swing. Now we got the spin, but what if you don't have one of these, which most of you probably don't? So now what I could do is I can come here to the wall and I could just practice doing this. I make sure I got my semi-western grip and I'm just doing this up and down against the wall. This is giving me the feeling you want to come below the ball, up through the ball. below, up, through. That's what's gonna give you the top spin. So I can just do this, and then every once in a while, I can flick it. And if I can make that ball kind of aggressively spin off the wall and go backwards, there's a good chance I just add a lot of topspin to the ball. You should also see the ball spinning as it's going back. So watch this. I'm here, doing this, getting the feel, whoosh. All right, so now that's how you're really getting. Now you got all the pieces together. And you've done. So now you're getting several baskets of this in. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go hit on the wall with this ball, right? Absolutely not. You're not gonna do that. Promise me you're not gonna use one of these balls. Promise me you're going to use one of these balls so that everything's slow and you can work on your technique. Too many people come out on the wall and they're just bashing, banging, bashing, banging. No consistency, right? And their stroke actually falls apart. This is gonna slow it down. In fact, I recommend you let that ball bounce a couple of times. So now what we wanna do is get our same thing we've been working on, the elevated elbow. Come in here, go in there, trying to get into a little bit of a rally. And now doing that motion, doing that motion, doing that motion. Boom, boom. See, so this wall makes you also be short too, because that ball comes back pretty quick. Imagine if you're using a regular ball, that would have came back even faster. That ball is coming back pretty quick at me to where I had to prepare right away. I couldn't take big backswings in order to be consistent. All right, so there you go, guys. There is step by step on how to use the wall